the time we were seeking him out for news value alone, and the police accepted this version. But no doubt you'll hear from Kenny Kunene himself throughout the course of the day. Thank you for listening. It's 1 o'clock, time for Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
An ad hoc committee to look into allegations made by Mkhwanazi, and opposition welcomes suspension of the Gauteng NPA head. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Parliament's portfolio committees on police and justice have recommended that an ad hoc committee be established to probe allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. During a meeting between the committees this morning, a decision was taken to adopt a draft report. Earlier this month, Mkhwanazi presented several damning allegations of corruption and collusion against police top brass and the judicial cluster in Gauteng. Oren Singh reports.
Parliament's portfolio committees on police and justice and constitutional development want to establish an ad hoc committee to be tasked with adequately dealing with the allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. This morning, the committees resolved to adopt a report on the establishment of an ad hoc committee to probe allegations of police and judicial corruption and collusion made by Mkhwanazi. Several members of Umkhonto weSizwe reserved their position on the adoption of the report. MP Mzwanele Mani.
Because we actually don't know what is the report going to look like. This is like adopting in good faith kind of a situation. So I just want to say in terms of the MK party, we want to reserve our position in terms of the adoption.
The committees are expected to present the report to Parliament in due course. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
The NPA has suffered another setback after the Gqeberha High Court dismissed an application for it to clarify its ruling, which acquitted Nigerian televangelist Timothy Omotosho. Last week, the NPA launched its appeal against the ruling, which found it had failed to prove Omotosho's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Omotosho was arrested in 2017, facing 30 counts, including rape, sexual assault, and human trafficking over alleged crimes committed against the congregants in his church. Mongezi Koko reports. We do apologize for that. Some opposition parties have described the president's action against Gauteng NPA head Andrew Chauke as long overdue. Yesterday, Ramaphosa placed Chauke on suspension pending a disciplinary inquiry looking into his fitness to hold office. This comes almost 2 years after the unit's boss, Shamila Batoyi, asked him to act against Chauke. In August of 2023, Batoyi wrote to President Cyril Ramaphosa asking him to suspend Chauke for potential misconduct and handling of some cases. Thabiso Koba reports.
The State's capture report says as Johannesburg Director of Public Prosecutions, Andrew Chauke unduly withdrew the murder and related charges against former intelligence boss Richard Mdluli. More recently, Chauke also oversaw the withdrawing of corruption charges against former ANC national spokesperson Zizi Kodwa. In both cases, the NPA's national team had to review the decisions. Action SA's parliamentary leader Athol Trollip says the decision to suspend Chauke was long overdue.
We do agree that this is a step in the right direction, but it's only one step. It will require a lot more to fix the Department of Public Prosecutions.
Trollip says a far-reaching inquiry must be held on the entire public prosecution department, which he says has let criminals walk away freely. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
To this now, FlySafe says some of its pilots who were on strike have returned to work today. The low-cost airline resumed limited operations at some of the country's busy airports just a day after suspending some of its flights. Its pilots, affiliated to Union Solidarity, went on strike yesterday over salary increases and a demand for better working conditions. FlySafe spokesperson Kirby Gordon.
We have more pilots at our disposal today than we did yesterday. There are a number of them that have returned back to work. However, we need fewer than we needed yesterday.
And in China, it's emerged that dozens of officials and hospital employees have attempted to cover up a lead poisoning incident that made hundreds of children sick. Government has released a report showing that the officials tampered with the blood tests of the children who were poisoned at a preschool. The report shows that some government officials accepted bribes from an investor at that preschool while neglecting food safety inspections. In an attempt to attract more students, the head of the preschool had used paint to enhance the look of meals that were being provided to the children. Gold is trading at $3,385.78 an ounce. The rand is at 17.64 to the dollar, 23.80 to the pound, 20.64 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.21 a barrel.
On the M1 South, there's a crash at Glenhove Road. That's causing delays from Marlborough Drive. And in Melville, there's a crash at Stanley Avenue and Henley Road. And in Pretoria, on the R101, there's a crash at Francina Street.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 17 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Parliament's portfolio committees on police and justice have recommended that an ad hoc committee be established to probe allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. The 702 Walk the Talk is hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. Get your tickets today on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Yo. Lots going on in South Africa today, this morning. Lots and lots of action and news taking place. I mean, I've been listening to the station the whole morning, listening to your views, calling into Ongani's show, calling into Clement Manyatela's show, and then now Mandy's show. Yo, I mean, what do you make of Kenny Kunene's story, rocking up at this guy, murder-accused Katiso Katie Molefe, who was arrested at his Sandton home yesterday for alleged ties to the murder of DJ Sambodi, whose real name is Opa John Sefoka. I mean, I've heard a lot of you asking questions. What do you think Kenny was doing there? Do you have any thoughts on what Kenny was doing there? I did read, according to News 24, Kenny has started a news website which hasn't been getting attention because of his commitments in the local government. And he basically said that he was accompanying a young journalist who is among a group of people who I am in the process of handing my website over to, which is called Africa News Global. So since I became a public bearer, I haven't had much time, blah, 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 wants to hand it over to aspiring journalists. To get traction and revenue for the site again, they needed to find some good, exclusive stories which the site used to be known for. Through a contact of mine, Jabu, we were able to arrange an interview with Mr. Katiso Molefe at his home. It must be stressed that he was not a fugitive at the time, and we were seeking him out for news value alone. So what news value would you want to get out of this controversial figure, Katiso Molefe, who's been arrested? I don't know. That's so weird. I mean, I've looked at some of the stories on the Africa News Global website. They've got some of the headlines here is Ramakgopa to finalize financing model for grid expansion. Danny Alves trial, ex-Brazil player guilty of nightclub rape. The Hawks target SAFA boss Daniel Jordan. So, yeah, I mean, those are some of the stories that are on the Africa News Global. What news, or what kind of information would Kenny have got from Mr. Katiso Molefe? And I mean, if I phone somebody and say, look, I'm looking for, you're my contact, I phone you and I say, I'm looking for somebody who can give me news stories. Well, I'll give you a name. Why don't you phone so-and-so? We're not going to check out maybe who this person is, who they are, what they're involved in, and then maybe go. And then you rock up at the house, and then there's an arrest that takes place. Yo, hectic stuff. I mean, it's stuff out of a movie, I must say. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that one? 011-883-0702 is the number to chat to me this afternoon. And the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. I'd love to get your thoughts on this one this morning. I did see Midday Report tried to get hold of Kenny Kunene with no luck. I mean, he has been doing the rounds. I saw him on ENCA earlier. So maybe if he's listening, please do give us a call. It would be good to chat to you about this one. 011-883-0702. I mean, it's wrong place, wrong time as well, hey? I mean, hectic stuff. Rocking up there to do an interview, and then can you imagine there's an SAPS raid and there's cops and they're quizzing you. What are you doing here? Let me see your phone. Do you know this person? How do you know him? Pretty hectic, hey? So have you got a story that maybe you want to tell us about where you were, wrong place, wrong time, and something started unwinding around you, just like happened to Kenny Kunene? Maybe you've got a story that you want to share. I'd love to hear that this afternoon. 011-883-0702 and 072-702-1702. Gosh, I got so excited, I forgot to say who I am. It's Kabazela, standing in for Relebogile Mabotja, who is in Paris, doing her thing there, and we'll be back on your radio on Monday next week. So she'll be back then. But for now, you got me for the next 2 hours and for the next couple of hours for the rest of the week. And I'm looking forward to chatting to you, listening to your views and your thoughts and comments on some of the stories that we're chatting about. But yeah, have you got a story about being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Love to get your views on that one and hear your stories this afternoon.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
So what else is coming up on the show today? We've got the tech feature. We are going to be talking about the future of AI in the workplace. Are you using AI in the workplace, and what's it doing for you? Is it making your job a little bit easier? Is it more efficient? Is your job workplace adapting AI quite easily? I'd love to get your thoughts on that one. But the guest we're going to be chatting to is Trevor Ndobela. He's the CEO of Quarfix. So we'll have a chat with him about the future of AI in the workplace. Then the series edition, we're going to be continuing this series, and it's understanding civil cases and lawsuits. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about David versus Goliath. And we will be chatting to the Senior Attorney and Director of the IIE Varsity College Law Clinics. Her name is Soritha Fenter, and she's going to be chatting to us about, taking on corporates. If you are Joe Soap, David, so to speak, how difficult is it to take on the big corporates? I mean, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of money, or a lot of help to take on big corporates. So we're going to be chatting about all those kind of things and exploring some of those issues on where to start, what you should do, and where to seek advice if that's something that you need to do. And then, of course, it's a Tuesday. We do cars on a Tuesday, and we're going to be talking about workshops. Now, this is mechanics or panel beaters, and if your car is out of the service plan and you need to take it to a workshop for a service or a repair or a breakdown, what are the things you need to be looking out for? What is the recourse if something goes wrong? How to spot a good workshop versus a dodgy workshop, and all those issues and more with the National Director of the Motor Industry Workshop Association.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Let's go to the lines and we chat to Ree. Hey, Ree, you're calling from Johannesburg.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Ree, what's on your mind this afternoon?
Yes. So I do not necessarily have a topic of myself being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to express an opinion about Mr. Kunene.
Yes.
And the excuse that he's giving, and I call it an excuse, quite calculated.
Mm-hmm.
I find it quite lousy and lazy and lousy. This is a man who says, I wanted to establish this platform, but owing to time constraints, but based on his political career, I could not measure up to this. I just did not have time. But here he is at a place accompanying, those things require time, accompanying this upcoming Juno to do what he says. I'm walking away from it because I do not have time. He seems to have had a lot of time, and I'm saying his reason is not enough. He is quite suspect in the whole saga.
So you think it's like, why would you be there? What are you looking for? That kind of thing. You're suspicious of this story?
Well, certainly, because he says, I wanted to walk away from the platform.
Yeah.
Owing time constraints. But here you are with enough time on your hands to entertain an upcoming Juno to an extent that you drive them to this particular house, that you do not know the person who stays at that particular house, but you have the time. So it sort of contradicts. You can't walk away from your own platform because you do not have time. At the same time, be entertaining demand from that same platform that requires of your time. So it's quite suspect. I think it's a lousy excuse. They didn't even try to come up with something that is tangible or plausible. He clearly has time. His actions last night are demonstrative of somebody that has time to entertain this platform. But he says, I don't have time. And I wanted to come, a short story. I wanted to give an opportunity to somebody upcoming. I'm being an example. I'm saying it's lousy.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ree,
He's
thanks.
quite suspect.
Thanks for the call, Ree. That's Ree's thoughts. What are your thoughts on the MMC, Kenny Kunene, being at this residence of the man who was arrested for the alleged murder of DJ Sambodi? Was it wrong place, wrong time story? Or is there something else there? I'd love to get hold of Kenny if he's chatting. I mean, he must answer the questions that people have been asking, because he's a public official. So he would definitely need to answer. Was it just a case of wrong place, wrong time, or was there something else? And why seek out this particular individual of all people? Right? What kind of content for your website would you be looking for? So we were asking the question of wrong place, wrong time stories. Have you got any of those that comes to mind? We'd love to hear those stories. We got Amanda. She sent us a WhatsApp message and it says, "Good day, Kabazela. A friend and I stopped for a burger on our way home at the Wimpy in Rissik Street in 1986. And the Wimpy was blown up while we were inside. We could not imagine how expensive that burger would be, hey? Thank God we came out alive. Regards, Manda." Gee whiz, Manda. What a story to tell. I mean, there you go for a nice Wimpy cheeseburger, chips, some mustard and tomato sauce on your chips, and a flippin' bomb goes off. That's scary, hey? Really, really scary. So if you got some stories to add, wrong place, wrong time, love to hear those this afternoon. 072 702 1702. John from Davidson. How you doing, John?
No, fine.
Good. What's on your mind?
There's an African saying that Mundi Komatnyawen, you always catch a bug where it normally plays and do things. There's something that Kenny was doing there, which is really, 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 it's a secret. He was found in places where he normally do it behind closed doors. I don't take his story that he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's a shady character.
Okay.
I love him, but I suspect there was something there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it was just pure coincidence. Who knows, John? I'm sure time will tell, and we'll wait and see what unfolds. But thanks very much for the call, John. That's John in Davidson. Let's take a listen to some of the voice notes coming through.
Good afternoon, John and the team. I have one question. So, if they were there for a story, where is the story? Where's the link? Where can we read the story?
I mean, he's got a story now. He can write about his experience being there, right? So that's something for the website, and I'm sure people would go and read that. The website is africannewsglobal.co.za. Rocking up to interview somebody, and then the police turn up there to arrest a suspect, and question you as to why you are here. Do you know this person? Yeah, unbelievable. But let's see what happens. TT from Pretoria, how you doing? Yeah, what's happening?
Sharp. Look, I think the more he tries to explain himself, the more he looks guilty, and he shouldn't actually, to be honest. I'm not his biggest fan, but he should have just said, "Yes, I know the guy. He's a friend. He's an old friend. I just went to go and see him. I didn't know he was involved in such." I mean, we all know people that we don't know or expect to be involved in criminal activities, right? I mean, he's a businessman. I mean, you must see how the media reports on him. They say sentient businessman, so he's a businessman. So the fact that he was involved in the murder of somebody, I mean, I don't think anyone would have known that. So Kenny Kunene should have just said, "I know the guy from way back. I just went to visit him," and that's it. Because the more you explain stories, now you guys are poking into his stories, and now you're saying it's suspicious. Now you're saying this article, why, this, that. You know what I mean? The more you explain, the more you're digging up a hole for yourself. So he shouldn't explain more. He just said, "I know the guy," and that's it.
But maybe he doesn't know the guy. Maybe what Kenny says is absolutely the truth, where he said, "I was looking for some guy to give us some stories. A friend of mine, Pule, sent me the details, and here we are." And he has the WhatsApps to prove it.
Yes, couldn't he just say, "I went to go see a guy for a meeting," and then when people ask, "What's the meeting for?" I mean, this guy, I don't think he'd be good in dealing with women, if you ask me. I mean, you don't open it up. You just say, "I went to do this," and then they ask why, and then you explain why. But the why is limited, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because now the more he opened up from the get-go, that's the problem.
Okay, TT from Pretoria, thanks so much for your calls. We'll be back just after this one.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What took the president so long?
The president always seeks to act in fairness. In this particular case, he gave Minister Nkabane the opportunity to explain herself. Unfortunately, that was not to be.
What was the last straw for him?
When the minister could not present herself to Parliament during a scheduled hearing, escalated matters, but it had been an issue that the president has been concerned about.
Was she fired or did she resign?
In essence, she was removed, or you could say she was fired, yes.
Vincent Magwenya, the spokesperson for the presidency.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Want to celebrate Women's Day in style? Then get your tickets as Grammy Award-winning singers Anthony Hamilton and Joe Thomas come together to celebrate the incredible women of Mzansi on 9 August. Happening at the iconic DP World Wanderers Stadium in Sandton, they will be joined by South Africa's multi-award-winning singers and incomparable Sonke, Sjava and Vusinova. Get your tickets now on CompuTicket or webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Soulful Nights, Vertex Events and 702.
You and your two besties have been belting out the same song since you were 6 years old.
Don't you feel like you cry?
30 years later, and that song will be sung live in New York City.
Don't you feel like crying?
Imagine.
Don't you feel like you could cry?
Now imagine buying 3 Golden Circle tickets to the show. Ladies, we ride a door.
Oh, yeah.
Invest early. You'll be so happy you did. Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is a registered FSP.
The iconic 702 Walk the Talk is back, and it's bigger than ever. In celebration of Mandela Month, 702 Walk the Talk takes to the streets of Tshwane as participants walk past some of South Africa's most iconic landmarks. Join the walk this Sunday, 27 July, and choose between the 6.7-kilometre route or the full 8-kilometre route from the Freedom Park Heritage Site to the Union Buildings. Grab your tickets at primemediaplus.com. This message is proudly brought to you by the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture.
702 and Corporates That Care with Butter are talking about Butter Children's Program.
We've run school donations, volunteer days. We have about 82 people in our head office in KZN. They frequently go down to the Malvern Children's Home. The Malvern Children's Home is a home for orphans that we've adopted basically in the KZN region. We've assisted them with jungle gyms, water tanks, stationery, libraries. We've built a library for them, as mentioned. Unfortunately, the Malvern's Children's Home has a R1 million debt, water and electricity debt.
Sure.
So we've created a GoFundMe page, and a portion of the proceeds from our Mandela Day shoe sales will go towards this cause. So when corporates choose toughies for their Mandela Day giving, they're not just buying the school shoes, they're helping children keep their home running.
From jungle gyms to school supplies and life-changing donations, Bata is building brighter futures. Visit bata.co.za to learn more. 702. Let's walk the talk.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
25 minutes past 1, it's Kabazela standing in for Relebogile. And if you just joined us, we are chatting about the story. Murder-accused Katiso KT Molefe was arrested at his Sandton home yesterday for the alleged ties to the murder of DJ Sampodi. And who was there in the driveway when the police rocked up? None other than the MMC for Transport in Johannesburg, Kenny Kunani. And he says he was basically there to chat to this Mr. Molefe to get some information, some stories for a website that Kenny runs, which is the africannewsglobal.co.za. And he was there with some young journalists. And whilst he was waiting in the driveway, the police rocked up, arrested this guy, then quizzed Kenny. Kenny's, do you know this man? How do you know him? Checked his phone, all this kind of stuff. And Kenny just said, yeah, he was happened to be there to get some information from this guy. So we were asking you about wrong place, wrong time stories, and also your thoughts on what you think is the story here. Is it just pure coincidence or what? Let's take a listen to some of your voice notes.
Good afternoon, Kabazela.
Yo.
I'm not sure, but I think it is it Jackie Celebe?
Yeah.
Celebe, the late Jackie Celebe. Remember the saying, a friend of a criminal is a criminal. That's my take. My statia.
Hi, Jonathan. You know what? I think what everybody is forgetting with this whole Kenny Kunana drama is that this guy is an MMC who is supposed to be doing council work, but he's not doing that. He's doing his own personal things, during council work that he should be doing, helping the residents of Joburg. And again, remember, there's the very same person who Dada Morero thought should put as a acting mayor when Dada was away. I'm waiting to see what will Dada Morero say about this, because this is misconduct, doing personal things during MMC work.
And the good team there. You know what? Our parliaments, provincial or national or local government, these places are infested with criminals. That's why this country is going like this. Thank you, William Pretoria.
Thank you for those voice notes. Some interesting views coming through there. Looking at the WhatsApp line here, we got Dan in Robertville says, Kabazela, Kenny was there to get the scoop. He was likely tipped off on the takedown, and what a great promo for his site. There at the takedown. Well, then he should have said that that's why he was there. I'm here as a journalist to view the takedown. I've been tipped off that there is an arrest taking place, not just to say I'm here for content and a contact of mine, Pule said, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, Dan, I'm not too sure about that one. Hey, Kabazela, a friend of mine ended up at the wrong place and the wrong time a few years ago, visiting one of her friends. Turns out it was the dwelling of a renowned gangster who was being investigated, and when the raid happened a few days later, she had made another turn there. This implication affects her job hunting and most business opportunities today. Sure, I mean, yeah, these things can happen. Wrong place at the wrong time, where you think, well, going here, going to do this, and then something completely untoward happens. But yeah, keep those coming on 072 702 1702. And, for right of reply, if Kenny is listening to the radio station, please do call us on 011 883 0702. The lines are open to take your call and to listen to your side of the story. But right now, it's 1:30 and time for news with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, Jono. A very good afternoon. 2 of the 4 men arrested in connection with the assassination of musician Oupa John Sefoka, popularly known as DJ Somebody, have been linked to 2 other high-profile cases. The accused made the first court appearance this morning in the Alexandra Magistrates Court, where the matter was postponed to next week. DJ Somebody was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Johannesburg in 2022 in a case that sparked widespread speculation about who ordered the hit. The investigating officer in the murder of Jaden Lee Meek has questioned some of the information provided by the child's mother in her affidavit. Sergeant Nceba Diko is on the stand again in the Roodepoort Magistrates Court, where Tiffany Nicole Meek is seeking bail. Meek is accused of murdering her 11-year-old son, whose body was found just a few meters away from his family unit in Vleehof in May this year. And it's been 2 years since an underground gas explosion ripped through Lillian Ngoyi Street in the Joburg CBD, and repairs to the 1.8 kilometer stretch of road have not been completed. Commonly referred to as Bree Street, the city has been working to restore the damaged road, with the contractor still active on site. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
In Bedfordview on the N3 North, there's a crash at Gululi's Interchange. And if you are in Melville, there's also a crash at Stanley Avenue and Henley Road. On the N1 southbound, just after Brakfontein Ramp, there is a stationary vehicle from Downey Yoba Freeway. And there's also a stationary vehicle on the N1 South at the Golden Highway. There's still roadworks on Brakfontein Road South on the on-ramp to the N1 North. And a number of traffic lights out of order. One's in Midrand at the K101 and Allendale, in Rand Park Ridge, the N1 and Bayers New Deer, and Malibongwe and Boundary, and Malibongwe and Epsom. And moving on to Pretoria, there's a stationary vehicle on the N1 South just before Linwood. And if you are travelling on Ben Skuman Freeway, you can expect delays approaching Trichard Road. I'm Sholina Naru, more Eyewitness News traffic at 2 o'clock.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
18 minutes to 2. It's Kabazela on your radio. I see lots of your voice notes and your WhatsApp are coming through to comment on the issue of MMC for transport in Johannesburg. Kenny Kunene being in the driveway at this suspect, Mr. Molefe, who was arrested in connection with the murder of DJ Somebody. So, we'll take some of those now. But first, if you are home decor, design, all that kind of stuff, and that interests you, we're giving you a chance to win tickets to Decorex Joburg. It's double tickets to Decorex Joburg. So if you want to win these tickets, what I want you to do is I want you to call us now on 011 883 0702 and answer a very, 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 very simple and easy question. How much are the online tickets for Decorex Joburg taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre? How much are the tickets for the adults at the Decorex Joburg taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre? Very, very easy answer there. So get those dialing fingers ready, and hopefully you'll be the winner of the double tickets to Decorex Joburg.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
City Power say they are under siege. Armed Zamazamas are ripping these cables out of tunnels like it's gold, leaving Joburg in the dark. Quite literally, the damage in millions is often not repaired. Officials are calling it a sabotage crisis. Over 170 arrests have been made this year alone, but the looting hasn't stopped. And City Power says they're being outgunned, outmanned. You've got to ask the question, who's really in control of Joburg's power grid?
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Mzansi, for as little as R5, you can play Powerball for an estimated 84 million rand jackpot this Tuesday. Play Powerball for an estimated 84 million rand jackpot today, and you could be celebrating multi-millions. Buy your tickets now in store on national or on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Utuba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Choose Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, and save on Kellogg's Cornflakes 1 kg for $74.99. Jacob's Chronomore Gold Instant Coffee 200 or 230 grams, any two for 269 rand, and Pampers Jumbo Pack or Premium Care Value Pack nappies or pants for $249.99 per pack. Valid until this Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Dear Journal, Day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have two problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
So 702 is giving you a chance to win double tickets to Decorex Joburg. And I asked you a very simple question if you wanted to win those tickets. How much are the online adult tickets for Decorex Joburg taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre? And I see Adrian from Pretoria was had the fastest finger. Afternoon to you, Adrian.
Afternoon, how are you?
I'm very, very good, thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
So, this very, very hard question. I'm sure you're sweating from your brow, and you searched high and low for this question and the answer. What is the correct answer, Adrian?
862 rand for online tickets.
Cue the drum roll. 160 rand is correct, Adrian. Well done. You've won a set of double tickets to Decorex Johannesburg, which I'm sure you really, really will enjoy. And it's been held at the Sandton Convention Centre from the 24th to the 27th of July. So keep listening to this show for the whole week for your chance to win double tickets this whole week. So we'll be asking you some more questions the whole week of your chance to win double tickets to Decorex Joburg. Enjoy, Adrian, and
thank you.
Have
Thank
fun.
you so much.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, Adrian. Pashida will take all your details. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice prize, hey? Nothing wrong with winning a couple of tickets to Decorex Johannesburg. But let's go back to wrap up some of your comments on this whole Kenny Kunene issue. This is what some of you had to say on your voice notes.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Kabazela, do you remember Dali Tambo when he was caught at the ranch?
Research.
What did he say? He was there for
Research.
journalistic research.
Good afternoon. Regarding Kenny Kunene, I think it's a place of exactly the right place at exactly the right time. If the goal was to raise awareness of African News Global, mission accomplished. Thanks, Justin.
Good morning to 702 listeners. I'm just wondering why all these arrests are happening only after General Mkhwanazi exposed the police. I mean, the arrest of KT, the arrest of the people that shot that auditor of Kempton Park. Why is it happening? So it means there's more to this. It has been happening. It has been happening, and it's still things are still gonna come out.
Hi, Kabazela.
Hi.
I think this Kunene thing is just a joke. Remember that Kunene is an ex-convict, and then now he's found with a suspect in a murder case. Yeah, they always say birds of the same feathers flock together. Yes, chickens are coming home to roost. That's Maury.
Thanks, Marie. Thanks for all those voice notes, 702 family. Yeah, I mean, time will tell and we will see what happens. But, you know, since the address from the KZN Police Commissioner, General Mkwanazi, things are starting to happen. There's the dominoes are starting to fall one by one. So it's going to be exciting to watch how this unravels in the near future.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
If they were to give in to your demands, this would be a 20% increase in overall cost to company. They're saying, and I'll quote them, this is an unsustainable escalation for any company. First of all, do you accept that number? And secondly, if you do you not feel that you're potentially putting the sustainability of the largest domestic carrier at risk?
The problem is we haven't got to the core issue, and that's the shift roster issue. It's not the remuneration that needs to be resolved first, and we wanted certain changes.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Centre, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
Aquele.
Aquele.
Aqueli.
Aquela.
Aquele.
Aquili.
Aquele.
No matter how you say it, one thing's for sure. Aquele is South Africa's most loved water brand, refreshing you with pure natural spring water and delicious flavored sparkling drinks. From every sip to every smile, thank you Mzansi for making Aquele a part of your everyday moments. Aquele, spreading joy to South Africa naturally.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
80 minutes to 2, Kabazela on your radio. And right now, let's look at our tech feature. And we're going to be talking about the future of AI in the workplace. Are you using AI in the workplace? Are you excited about using AI in the workplace? Is it making your job easier in the workplace? Or are you maybe a little bit apprehensive, a little bit afraid of AI and maybe that your job will be at risk? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one this afternoon. 011 883 0702 and on our WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. How are you using AI in the workplace, and is your work encouraging the use of AI in the workplace? And a lot of us, when we hear AI, artificial intelligence, we're like, oh, you know, the robots, the bots are coming, they're taking over. But it's more than that. It's a heck of a lot deeper than that. And you know, will it be our co-worker, will it be our competitor, or our biggest productivity tool? That's one of the questions. And today we're joined by Trevor Ndobela, who's the CEO of Quarfix, to explore the future of AI in the workplace, what to expect, what to fear, and how to prepare. Good afternoon to you, Trevor, and thanks very much for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Kabazela. Thanks for having me. Always good to have a chat about what technology is doing in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, so let's look at it from a South African context. How big is AI in South African companies? Are we seeing a big uptake in AI, or is it still one of those, you know, let's dip our toes, but not the whole foot just as yet?
Yeah, good question. I think technically many are keen, to be honest with you. If you look at cloud spend, it's up. The big banks are already running machine learning models in production. But when you come to the cultural part, it's a bit of a mixed bag. If you the conversations that we're having with some of our clients, what we are finding is that the middle managers are a little bit nervous. Even though Exco is excited about AI, middle managers are a little bit concerned and nervous because everyone is asking, will this tool watch everything I do? So I think in the South African context, and I think the world over as well, readiness is not just about hardware; it's also a mindset and policy thing. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. But there is excitement from across the board. It's just, I think, at some levels, it's just more careful consideration more than just jumping into it.
Okay, in terms of the fears or misconceptions about AI, and especially businesses, what are some of the big things that you come across in your experience when it comes to businesses wanting to adopt AI? Are they like, no, it's too expensive to implement, or I'm worried about the staff, etc.? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. If we look at it at a technical level, AI is not just a tool; it's not a plug and play tool. So as a business, there are quite a number of considerations that one needs to make. In terms of your data models, your data structures, integration pathways, etc. In order to be able to trust that the AI is giving you the right information. So technically, that's the main concern. Is my data at the right level, at the right state currently to give me the confidence to push it out at a commercial level where clients can actually interact to a large extent without the need for a lot of human interaction in between. And what we are finding is that it's not always the case. Even some of the big banks are still struggling to actually get to a point whereby they can push certain features and certain capabilities directly into the marketplace for fear that it might not be as ready as they would like. So at a technical level, that is what it is. At a more cultural and social level within the workplace, the main concern is basically ethics, right? So is what I'm getting actually vetted? So if I'm receiving a proposal from a supplier, is it actually vetted, or is it AI generated? We are seeing issues around citations, etc., that are coming through. So those things still need to be ironed out so that at least as a community in the marketplace, in the commercial space, we are able to trust that, or at least able to vet that this is human generated or this is AI generated with some human eyeballs on it.
Yeah. I mean, so let's maybe take it a simpler way of looking at things. So AI can be implemented, in the back end of companies to make processes simpler, systems, data mining, all that kind of stuff. But let's look at day-to-day activities and day-to-day jobs. That's kind of what I'm quite interested in terms of how people are using or adopting AI to make their jobs a little bit more easier and simpler. I mean, on emails, for example, you've got Copilot, which can make writing emails simpler, etc., or doing presentations and all that kind of stuff. What are in terms of the use of that and maybe receiving emails that are written by AI or presentations that are designed by AI? What are your thoughts on that? Is that becoming a bigger thing in corporates now, and is that acceptable in the corporate place, or does it be like, but hold on, you've used AI to do all this? I'm not how do we trust this?
Yeah, I mean that is a big thing. So a lot of emails right now, we believe that a lot of them, I can't put a number on it, but the majority of them are AI. Someone has interacted with AI in some shape or form, right? And whether you can trust it or not, I think that's the next step that we need to get to, where we are able to vet, like I said before. But effectively, what we are seeing is that a lot of emails, especially that are coming through presentations, people have interacted with AI at some level. What we are advocating for is some level of transparency from everyone in terms of citations, so that people receiving that content are able to understand. But we understand that not everyone is honest. So there are tools that are coming up in the industry that are helping, just like what we see in the university space, where there are tools that are able to detect whether a student has actually put together this assignment using their own words, or did they just do an information dump from the internet. So even with AI, those things are coming through. We are also seeing elements within the workplace where from a data security perspective, companies are implementing mechanisms that prevent employees from uploading entire documents on an AI chatbot to basically get it to analyze the content and give them quick wins into submissions or whatever the end goal is. So so when you look at it holistically from a workplace perspective, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's just like me saying, Kabazela, I've written this email. Please vet it for me. Let me know if it's ready for me to actually share it with our customers or our suppliers. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, because it's effectively what I would do on a day-to-day basis. The problem comes where now you are citing elements that are non-existent. The problem comes where you are speaking on subject matters that you have no understanding on. And as a result of that, and not even citing exactly where this information came from, and as a result of that, you are pretty much a fraud, as it were. So those are the things that we need to guard against, whether from a client perspective, from a supplier perspective, or just generally in the way that we are interacting.
Okay, if you just joined us, it's 9 minutes to 2 o'clock. Kabazela in for Relebogile, and we're talking to our guest, Trevor Ndobela. He's the CEO of Qualfix, and we're chatting about the future of AI in the workplace. And I asked you, how are you using AI in the workplace, and what are you seeing in the workplace when it comes to AI? WhatsApp line here, 072-702-1702. I work for a tech company abroad, and AI has already in part automated what we are currently doing. This has affected the availability of work, as humans need to do fewer tasks. AI is very real and making very real waves in the world of work. It's inescapable. I mean, that I suppose, Trevor, is pretty spot on. It's coming, and it's coming quickly, hey?
Oh, absolutely. So it's all over the place. Emails, spreadsheets, meeting minutes, all of those elements. And look, AI, in terms of its current use case, you are looking at repetitive type of workflows. You are looking at rule-based workflows. Those ones are great use cases to plug AI into them and then retrain people on much more complex tasks, or on much more growth-based type of tasks. So we are seeing a lot of that all over the place, and the trajectory is leading to a much more complex type of functions. But as it stands currently, the more repetitive, the more rule-based type of workflows are very quickly being replaced.
Trevor, in terms of companies, what should they be doing to prepare their workforce? I mean, are you seeing that a lot of companies are upskilling their staff and providing education for AI to make people a little bit more comfortable with AI?
Yeah. There are quite a number of companies right now that are that are supplying or rendering services to basically teach employees and students in terms of how to use AI, both at a technical level and also at an ethical level. So I think from a company perspective, what is important today is to know what could be automated and what should stay human in terms of the task, especially the everyday tasks that a company normally goes through. So you need to map those tasks today and understand these ones are pretty much targeted for AI. These ones will remain human, at least for the foreseeable future. And then as a next step is then looking at how do we then train our people. But I think because of the anxiety that comes with the realization that AI is here, what is important is to also prepare your staff emotionally so that they understand that the goal is not to replace them, but to to give them a hand so that they can be much more productive, and that they can be involved in much better and growth-based type of functions instead of repetitive, boring type of tasks. So there's a layer there where just before you scale them up, it's about telling them that, look, we are not replacing you. This is how this thing is going to help you. Then the skilling part. How do you prompt an AI to give you the results that you're looking for? How do you make sure that ethics are baked into everything that you are doing when you are using AI? And also, overall, it's also looking at what are the pilots that we can run quickly within the organization that can get the excitement going, get people to understand it much better, the smaller tasks. And then from one pilot, it will lead to another pilot, and then eventually you'll scale to the rest of the organization, at least within the parameters that you've set.
Mm-hmm. The future of AI in the workplace is the conversation. Looking at the WhatsApp line, hi Kabazela and guest. AI has enriched my clinical work. I am passing this on to colleagues and students. Regards, Dr. Mahuma from Midstream. I mean, that's an interesting one, Doc. I'd love to know more about what you're doing in your clinical work when it comes to AI. Let's take a listen to some more voice notes.
My question to your guest is with regard to the emotional intelligence, because it sounds to me like AI is more focused on the intellectual side, intellectual intelligence side, whereas we tend to ignore emotional intelligence like empathy and other aspects of emotional intelligence. What's your take? Thanks, David.
Yeah, good question, David. I mean, Trevor, I suppose the question there as well is if companies are using AI to, at the coalface with customer service. So if you phone a call center or you're chatting to one of those chatbots online and they can't pick up that you are angry or frustrated, it can be even more frustrating for the customer, right?
Or it could calm you down. But I do get it.
Yeah.
I do get that, and yeah. I mean, look. At the end of the day, AI will not have emotions. It's not. In terms of just looking into the future, I don't want to crystal ball anything. But looking into the future, I don't see an instance where AI will be emotional. However, I think there's two things there. The one is companies are not replacing human beings on call centers and those elements. They are just adding AI to reduce the waiting time, etc., and to give you a much more precise type of information that maybe a human being would have to go and look for before actually responding to you. So the one aspect from that perspective is you can always choose a human being. Right, so we see a lot of there's an AI option, there's a human option.
Yeah.
The human option you'll have to wait if you want to engage in an emotional at an emotional level. You can always wait until a human being can answer. If you don't have the time, then an AI would work better for you effectively. But I think overall, what it is you need to choose from your side. Is it a time thing that you want to, are you trying to ensure that you get to the right answer quickly, or do you want to engage? And on that basis, you will then be able to choose. But I think overall, we don't expect AI to get to a point whereby emotions will be part of the engagement.
Fascinating discussion. That's Trevor Ndobela, the CEO of Qualfix. And if you want to find out more, go to qualfix.co.za. That's QUARPHIX.co.za. Talking to us about the future of AI in the workplace.
Beyond politics.
CD, I'm not going anywhere.
It's honest conversations with politicians and newsmakers on Polytricking with Sidi Madia on EWN. It gets heavy.
Even in losing the election in Polokwane, people regret Zuma. They don't regret not backing Mbeki.
Me, I don't regret nothing. Because he gave people a sword to stab him with.
Yeah.
It gets personal.
There's a tendency to paint the entire GNU with the whims and the feelings of the DA at any particular moment. It is not a fact.
It gets to their truth.
If you check the videos, it started coming like organically on the ground. Random leaders of the FF Children's Command saying, no man, this Floyd must go away.
You call him VBS Floyd, don't you?
Yeah, it's VBS Floyd.
Why is Julius Malema not VBS
But the
Malema?
president was cleared by parliament, guys.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You're defending even Floyd Shivambuni is in the EFF from VBS. Suddenly it's VBS Floyd.
No, I never defended.
Catch a new episode every Wednesday on PrimeMediaPlus.com. Polytricking with Sidi Madia on EWN.
On record,
In touch, in tune, and independent.
Proudly South African brings the energy to the 702 Walk the Talk on Sunday, the 27th of July at Freedom Park in Tshwane. Swing by their lively water station where mascot Lolo Warona will keep spirits high with his signature dance moves. As thousands walk with purpose, it's a reminder that buying local fuels small businesses and helps create jobs. Every step counts, every swipe matters. Support South African-made products and help build a stronger economy. Vote with your wallet, buy local to create jobs.
Unfold extraordinary with the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 512 gig. Get it on a 6 gig Red Core plan from 1749 per month over 36 months. Experience cinematic viewing, seamless multitasking, and next level productivity. Pre-order yours today from Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Just after 1 o'clock, apologies for that, but it's time for EWN News.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Mbali Dlamini. 2 of the 4 men arrested in connection with the assassination of musician Oupa John Sefuka, popularly known as DJ Sambodi, have also been linked to 2 other high-profile cases. The accused made their first court appearance this morning in the Alexandra Magistrates Court, where the matter was postponed to next week. DJ Sambodi was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Johannesburg in 2022, in a case that sparked widespread speculation about who ordered that hit. Nearly 3 years later, police have arrested 4 men suspected of being behind his murder, including the alleged mastermind. Mongezi Koko reports.
Today's brief appearance brought with it some stunning revelations. It emerged that 2 of the accused are also linked to the assassination of Transnet engineer Ahmed Swart and the attempted murder of socialite Tebogo Tobajane. Tobajane's name has been in the spotlight in recent weeks after a bombshell briefing by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi revealed alleged connections between Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and the man accused of ordering a hit on her, Vusmuzi Cat Matlala. Matlala, who is currently incarcerated at Kgoshi Mampuru Maximum Security Prison, is already on trial for that attempted hit. Outside court this morning, police spokesperson Atlenda Mate confirmed that more arrests could follow.
What is also interesting is that the 2 hitmen in this particular case are also linked to the Tebogo Tebojane attempted murder. So all these are linked somehow.
As investigators continue to probe the crimes, all 4 accused remain in custody until their next appearance on Tuesday. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
The investigating officer in the murder of Jaden Lee Meek has questioned some of the information provided by the child's mother in her affidavit. Sergeant Nceba Diko is on the stand again in the Relebogile Magistrates Court, where Tiffany Nicole Meek is seeking bail. Meek is accused of murdering her 11-year-old son, whose body was found just a few meters away from his family unit in Vlehof in May. Ntokozo Khumalo reports.
A more calmer Tiffany Nicole Meek is currently in the dark
dark, diligently jotting down notes. In the semi-packed courtroom, Magistrate Annalene Africa once again hears the detective's findings of the events that transpired on the day the lifeless body of the child was found. Surgeon Diko argues that one of the points stated in the affidavit, that evidence was collected 2 days after Jaden Lee was discovered, is not true.
It could have been around 1600 hours to 5 in the afternoon. We were with a member of the family of the applicant. He opened for us and we did the work we were there for. I collected the school bag.
Tiffany Nicole Meek's lawyer, Noval Naidu, is expected to conduct his own questions as the proceedings continue. Ndogozo Kumalo, Eyewitness News, Rodiport.
We shift our focus to this now. Some opposition parties have described the president's action against Gauteng NPA head Andrew Chauke as long overdue. Yesterday, Ramaphosa placed Chauke on suspension pending a disciplinary inquiry looking into his fitness to hold office. This comes almost 2 years after the unit's boss, Shamila Batoyi, asked him to act against Chauke. In August of 2023, Batoyi wrote to President Cyril Ramaphosa asking him to suspend Chauke for potential misconduct and handling of some cases. Tabi Sokoba has more.
The state capture reports says as Johannesburg Director of Public Prosecutions, Andrew Chauke unduly withdrew the murder and related charges against former intelligence boss Richard Mdluli. More recently, Chauke also oversaw the withdrawing of corruption charges against former ANC national spokesperson Zizi Kodwa. In both cases, the NPA's national team had to review the decisions. Action SA's parliamentary leader Athol Trollip says the decision to suspend Chauke was long overdue.
We do agree that this is a step in the right direction, but it's only one step. It will require a lot more to fix the Department of Public Prosecutions.
Trollip says a far-reaching inquiry must be held on the entire public prosecution department, which he says has let criminals walk away freely. Tabi Sokoba, Eyewitness News.
It's been 2 years since an underground gas explosion ripped through the Lillian Goyi Street in the Joburg CBD, and repairs to the 1.8 kilometre stretch of road have not been completed. Commonly referred to as Bree Street, the city has been working to restore the damaged road, with contractors still actively on site. The DA in Gauteng has been conducting a site visit to assess the progress of the repairs along the road. Alfa Ramshwana is there.
What was once among the busiest streets in Johannesburg CBD remains a construction zone, with nearby businesses bearing the brunt. Repairs to the corridor were originally scheduled for completion in November last year, but the city of Johannesburg says the work will be finished by the end of August. The delays were due to disputes with the previous contractor, and a new company has since taken over the project. But DA Gauteng leader Solim Simanga says the delays are appalling.
And we've been told that this place will be ready by the end of August, beginning of September. It's not going to happen. We need to then ensure that when contracts are given, people are held to account. And those that continue to steal money are actually then put behind bars.
Almost 200 million rand was allocated to fix the road. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And the former police officer behind the death of Breonna Taylor, a black woman in the United States, has been sentenced to 3 years behind bars. Brett Hankerson was found guilty of one count of violating Taylor's rights after he blindly shot into her apartment in 2020. At the time of the shooting, police officers were carrying out a no-knock warrant and broke down her door. This then resulted in her boyfriend firing a single shot in self-defense. 3 officers responded with 32 shots, 6 of which struck and killed Taylor. Hankerson is the only officer at the scene who has been charged in connection with her death. Gold is trading at $3,385.78 an ounce. The rand is at 17.64 to the dollar, 23.80 to the pound, 20.64 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.21 a barrel.
Bettina Sisulu, there's a crash at the N1 Western Bypass, and on the N1 South at the ramp to Gordon Road, there's a stationary vehicle from 14th Avenue.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 17 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: 2 of the 4 men arrested in connection with the assassination of musician DJ Sambodi have also been linked to 2 other high-profile cases.
EWN In Touch.
in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. 702.
We're listening to you. 702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Big news day today. Lots happening in Mzansi. And yeah, I mean, one grabs their popcorn and just starts watching all this unfold. You heard all that in the news with Mbali Dlamini. It's 10 minutes past 2 o'clock, and thank you for tuning in. It's Kabazela standing in for Relebogile this afternoon and for the rest of the week. And yeah, I mean, I wanted to chat to you quickly about the decision by President Ramaphosa to remove Dr. Nkabane, the higher education minister. Finally, right? Finally, he acted. Do you think he acted swiftly? Do you think he took too long to make that review and to make the decision to remove her from cabinet? I don't know. Cyril doesn't generally make these decisions very quickly. He always takes his time, consults, and looks at the cards that are in front of him, I would imagine, eh? But can you imagine if we had a big meteor coming towards to hit South Africa, and the scientists said, this is what's happening in so many days. This is what's going to happen. It's going to impact here. Oh, maybe he would say, well, let's start a commission of inquiry. Let's do this. Let's do that. Before you know it, the meteor is hit. So let's hope that we can get quicker action next time these things unfold by our Cyril Ramaphosa, our president.
702.
Series Edition.
So the series edition is on understanding civil cases and lawsuits. And over the last couple of Tuesdays, Relebogile and the team have been unpacking each episode as they go. I'm not going to go into all the detail because it's a lot, but if you want to follow the episodes, you can go to primemediaplus.com to get all the information. But the episode for today is we're going to be chatting about everyday people versus big corporates. So David versus Goliath. I mean, I'd hate to find myself on the end of being, little old Kabazela having to take on a big corporate. Must be a hell of a daunting thing to try and even, get your head around where to start, how, do you have deep pockets to take on a corporate? There's so much to unpack when it comes to these David and Goliath cases. So to chat to us and to help simplify how these cases work and what one should be doing, we've got Soritha Fenter. She's the Senior Attorney and Director of the IIE Varsity College Law Clinic, who joins us on the line now. And Soritha, thanks very much for your time, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Kabazela. How are you doing?
I'm very, very well, thank you. And please, if you've got any questions or comments, please get them in early. It's I don't want to be the only one asking the questions to Soritha. So 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702 on the phone line. So Soritha, these cases, the David versus Goliath. I mean, in your experience, have you worked on any of a David and Goliath case or consulted or given advice to anybody?
Well, I think, without sounding, but I think every case is a David and Goliath case, especially where there is a bigger organization where they have stronger, more resources, more time, more money, bigger teams. So yes, I have worked on David and Goliath cases in the past. And it's daunting, I must say.
So, I mean, daunting for you, but I suppose when the client comes to you, they must be completely overwhelmed, don't even know where to start, how to explain the story. So when somebody walks into your office, what are some of the things that you would sort of, start from the beginning and then talk them through the process as to whether there's a case or not?
Yeah. So I think the most important thing is getting all your facts together and corroborating with evidence. So before any advice, before taking on any matter, especially a David and Goliath matter where you are going to face potentially a strong pushback, Doing your first investigation as an attorney is quite important, and gathering all the information. Thereafter only can you really see what remedies are available to you in law and how you're going to go about exercising those remedies. The next step after that, obviously, is starting, which could be quite daunting in the sense that it's a lot of drafting, a lot of hours in front of the computer, doing research, making sure that you cover all your bases, making sure that you actually do put the best case forward, because you only get one bite at the cherry.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of, somebody walks into your office with a potential case and you've looked at all the facts and the evidence that's presented to you. I've also wondered, do attorneys just say, cool, there's definitely a case here. We're going to take it on for you, and it's going to be at a no-fee basis. And if there is an amount that's awarded at the end of the trial, we'll then take a percentage on the case. Do you always go ahead with cases, or do you sometimes think, well, this could be very good publicity. Let's move on?
So that's why we've got a code of ethics as attorney, legal practitioners in general. We always have to act in the client's best interest, not our own. So I'm sure there are matters where you think, this is going to be really good for my practice, it's going to be good for my name, it's going to be good, but the merits might not be in your client's favor necessarily. It might look attractive to take the matter, but, for example, litigation is maybe not in your client's best interest for whatever reason. We have to act in the best interest of a client. So it is actually your duty as an attorney to advise a client on prospects of success, on the potential outcomes as far as you can, and the impact that the consequences that will have, whether it goes either way, whether you win the matter or lose the matter. What are the consequences? A lot of the times clients just see, but if I win, I'm going to get money or I'm going to get something from it.
Yeah.
And even if you win, you might not be able to execute.
Yeah, and generally speaking, what are some of the motivations that people walk into the offices for? Is it because there's monetary value, or are they wanting to just completely seek justice?
Well, that depends on the matter. And I mean, there are so many reasons why people actually, pull the trigger and approach a lawyer and start with litigation or start with broaching a topic. That can be anything from a financial motivation. So I'm owed money, or I feel like I've been harmed or damaged and I want some form of financial recovery for that. Some people do it because it is the right thing to do. So there's a sense of justice or injustice that has been committed and they want some form of retribution, holding people, especially government, accountable, for example, where there might not be a financial reward, but the sense of, accountability is what people look for. Some people just want to access and exercise their rights. For example, in a children's court matter where there's no financial reward, there's maybe a sense of injustice or there's a sense of, harm, but all the father or the mother wants to do is access their contact to their minor child. And that's purely just exercising your rights. So there's no real financial or quantitative reward attached to that. So there are many reasons why people do it, but that is a very important factor to take in consideration when you start.
Right. If you've just joined us, we're talking to Saritha Venter, Senior Attorney and Director of the IIE Varsity College Law Clinic. And we're talking about David versus Goliath cases and the process that unfolds once somebody has a potential case and goes to seek a lawyer. More just after this.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Wasn't it interesting that Minister Nkabane publicized her resignation letter just hours before we got to know that she had actually been fired? She probably got a phone call from the president to say, hey, man, hey, Comrade Nkabane, man, hey, you can see, man, hey. Bad, man. We must be seen to apply principle universally and consistently, my sister. And therefore, I've decided, in lieu of matters that are taking place at the moment, at this present juncture, at all material times.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Future Life will be at this year's 702 Walk the Talk, supporting active lifestyles with a taste of smart nutrition for life. You can enjoy samples of Future Life, smart food and bars, nutritious, high in protein, and packed with 19 essential vitamins and minerals. It's the perfect fuel for those always on the move. Convenient, delicious, and made for life in motion. Future Life, smart nutrition for life.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Hey, Smart Steve, Amir here. Listen, man, I got a problem, right?
Okay.
My little princess is turning 18, and now she's got a license and a boyfriend. And you know what these roads and young boys are like at night. Y'all check.
So you're worried about her safety. Just add it to the Momentum app so she can access help 24/7 with Momentum Safety Alert.
Is that the emergency response version of Curry in a Hurry? Listen, man, Steve, does my Momentum car insurance give me that?
For sure. Once she's added, she can get help at the touch of a button, no matter whose car she's in.
Free? Mahala, for all that and all?
Yes, for free. Your peace of mind and her safety at no cost.
Oh, Steve, one last thing. Does it come with a boyfriend ejector seat?
Not yet, but I'll mention it to the team. Visit momentum.co.za to get a quote. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer and FSP. Standard SMS rates and T's and C's apply. FSP 22789.
Two iconic South African acts, one unforgettable stage. Jeremy Loops and Ladysmith Black Mambazo present Echoes Between Us. Live at the Teatro at Monte Casino on 19 and 20 September. Experience this once-in-a-lifetime collaboration of rhythm, harmony, and heritage with these exclusive shows. Tickets on sale now from Web Tickets. Proudly supported by 702 and 947.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Martin Slabbert is the CEO at Prime Capital. You've slammed this offer from Hyprop. It does give current mass shareholders certain options. What do you believe is wrong with this offer?
The offer is really a request from shareholders to grant Hyprop with options as opposed to making an offer to acquire their shares. The usual market practice with making offers are that the offers will remain open for acceptance after they become unconditional.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Corporate and Investment Bank, a leading Pan-African bank and proud sponsor of the African Blockchain Report 2024. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Series Edition.
21 minutes past 2, Kabazela standing in for Relebogile this afternoon, and we're talking to our expert Saritha Venter, Senior Attorney and Director of the IIE Varsity College Law Clinic, about the David versus Goliath cases, and it's our series, Understanding Civil Cases and Lawsuits. So Saritha, you know, we've walked into your office, we've decided there's a case, there's evidence. In terms of the fees, you know, that is probably one of the biggest factors I would imagine that motivates people to go ahead with these cases, because, you know, when it comes to lawyers with your, your fees, a lot of lawyers are not cheap, right? And there are law clinics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of the managing cost expectation with clients, how does that work?
So first of all, there's a variety of ways in which you can access justice. That is what we call the normal way in terms of which you approach an attorney or you want to exercise your rights. So being able to access justice is one of the things that we really focus on. And that's where legal aid and the law clinic step in, is to assist people who cannot afford. Obviously, being able to appoint a lawyer in today's times and the economic situation that we're in, it's really a privilege to be able to afford an attorney or an advocate to assist you with a matter. So there's other options like funding, litigation funding, and like you mentioned, the contingency fee, where you will take a percentage of the winnings or what your client receives as payment for your services. But in general, most of the time, attorneys work on an hourly rate, and that can very quickly get quite expensive. So the fee aspect or the remuneration aspect, you really have to canvass from the get-go and be transparent. Don't be afraid to ask your attorney where we are standing on fees. It's very difficult to give an estimation of what a case will cost from the beginning, because you don't really know where the matter is going to end up. So the best way is to keep an open communication and be open and honest about fees and how you are planning on paying for it, maybe going into a payment arrangement if your attorney is willing to do that, or working on a reduced rate if possible. But that is something that I've seen in practice is very often not properly canvassed, and the communication is not kept open about it, which ultimately, if you are the David against the Goliath, that can be a determining factor for whether or not you proceed with the matter or you win or not.
Yeah, so I mean, corporates have deep pockets, and they can, do a Stalingrad case and kind of try and delay things and drag it out and drag it out. So what happens at the end of the day if a client runs out of money and they just, they cannot continue with the case? What happens then?
Well, that depends on the situation. It unfortunately happens more often than not. Because litigation is expensive. It is very expensive to, especially, for example, litigate in the High Court, where a lot of our matters are decided. So that's why the initial consultation and having a legal strategy in place, a plan, we're going to take this step first, and then we will reassess. Or this is our plan from the get-go, and that's what we are going to follow, and that is what we're going to enforce. So making sure that you do have a litigation strategy or a legal strategy in how you are going to proceed with your matter is really crucial, because that will ultimately avoid unnecessary sidebars or sidestepping, going down a rabbit's hole on the one matter, but then actually realizing that it's not really worth it, or, So it's very important that your legal strategy is set out and agreed on between the attorney and the client from the get-go.
What does it take for somebody to go along this journey? I mean, are there specific types of people who enter your offices and are wanting to take on a Goliath? I mean, I think probably generally speaking, most people would say, well, I don't have the fight in me to do it. Do you see like common traits with some people who walk in and say, look, not letting this go. I'm going all the way.
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously, again, it differs from person to person. We've all seen the Erin Brockovich movies, and we've seen those movies, and we know what it's about. But ultimately, it's the people who have suffered the most a lot of the time are willing to put up the hardest fights, who have, in the reality of the situation, been living the day-to-day struggle of the situation. If we look at certain cases in our history, where people were faced with serious things, the death penalty being one, S versus Makwanyane, where the death penalty was actually set aside, where they said that we now have a constitution and a right to life. Mr. Makwanyane was on death row. He was scheduled to be, to be executed, and he fought the battle. He went through the process. Living on death row was his daily, that's what he did. And he fought for that. And ultimately, we are all benefiting from it, whether you know it or not. You now, you don't have to be afraid of the death penalty anymore. There are so many matters, and even today, examples today where NGOs and organizations are holding government accountable, for example. It's all about resilience. It's all about fighting the good fight. And normally the people who do this are the people who are doing it for the right reason, hopefully. In my experience, I have seen a lot of people who fight the good fight for the right reasons, and that is for the greater good of the public in South Africa.
Okay. I mean, so in terms of the law clinics or the NGOs fighting the good fight, one of the controversial things is basically when there are hijacked buildings and the city wants to remove those individuals in hijacked buildings, and the NGOs then get into the courts and then prevent the city from removing or evicting the illegal occupiers of that building. I mean, fighting the good fight, is that like, what are your views on that in terms of NGOs getting involved in these kinds of cases?
Well, I suppose every matter or every story has three sides to it, which means what I deem as a just cause you may not agree with.
Mm.
The owner of the property or the Johannesburg or the COJ that's struggling with, paying the water, paying the bills, servicing these buildings that have been hijacked will say that they are suffering financially and this is the taxpayers' money. On the other side, you might have an NGO or an organization going and saying, but these people need a house. We're looking at humans. This is the humane thing to do, is not to evict them necessarily, or
Hello, Saritha, you there? Hi, we lost you there for a moment.
Hi, yes, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back with us.
Sorry, yes. So I was just saying that ultimately it depends on the side that you're on. The one side might think that it's damages, it's taxpayers' money that's being wasted. And the other side might say, but these are humans, why are we evicting? It's not fair. It's children. It's mothers. It is destitute people who can't afford accommodation. So there's always two sides to a story. So I suppose it depends on which side of the story you're fighting for and standing on.
And finally, just to end, Saritha, in terms of you and taking on cases, have you ever had to take on a case where it was at odds with your personal beliefs or morals or ethics?
Morals.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting conversation, and I spoke to a colleague about it yesterday. The fight between morals and ethics. If you cannot act in your client's best interest, you shouldn't be taking on a matter. If you feel like your morals are going to jeopardize your ethics and you will not be able to ethically act in your client's best interest, you should not take on a matter. I've been in a moral dilemma where I took on a matter that was not within my morals, but luckily I can say that it did not jeopardize my ethics. It's difficult, but at the end of the day, we fight for people. We don't judge them. That's not our job, luckily.
Yeah.
I don't get paid to judge them. I get paid to represent them and to the best of my ability.
Saritha, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. That's Saritha Venter, the Senior Attorney and Director of the IIE Varsity College Law Clinic, talking to us about litigation and cases. And today's episode in the series is the Davids versus Goliaths. It's now 31 minutes past 2 and time for EW with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, Jono. A very good afternoon. 2 of the 4 men arrested in connection with the assassination of musician Oupa John Sefoka, popularly known as DJ Sambodi, have also been linked to 2 other high-profile cases. The accused made the first appearance in the court this morning. That's at the Alexandra Magistrates Court, where the matter was then postponed to next week. DJ Sambodi was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Johannesburg in 2022. Parliament's portfolio committees on police and justice have recommended that an ad hoc committee be established to probe allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. During a meeting between the committees this morning, a decision was taken to adopt a draft report. Earlier this month, Mkhwanazi presented several damning allegations of corruption and collusion against the police's top brass. And FlySafair says some of its pilots who were on strike this week have now returned to work. The low-cost airline resumed limited operations at some of the country's busy airports a day after suspending some of its flights. Its pilots, affiliated to trade union Solidarity, went on strike yesterday over salary increases and a demand for better working conditions. Those are the headlines. There's EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
In Roodepoort on Christian de Wet, there's a crash at Wilgeroot Road, and if you're on Houghton Drive, there's also a crash at St. Andrews. On the N1 southbound, there's a stationary vehicle after Brakfontein on ramp. That's from Dani-Joubert Freeway, and on the N3 North, you can expect slow-moving traffic if you are heading on to Galuli's interchange. There's roadworks on the R21 south between Benoni, R23, and the Ponema Road. The 2 left lanes are closed. That's causing delays, and traffic lights are still out at Malibongwe and Boundary, and Malibongwe and Epsom, and the N1 North and Malibongwe. I'm Shalina Roux, more Eyewitness News traffic at 3 o'clock.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tsepang from Midrand. I love 7-2 because of the credibility of their news, the also credibility of their information. You can rely on their presenters, and on a lighter note, I also love their Wiz Quiz feature.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Ooh, I must say one of my favorite drinks during the winter is Milo. So get ready to fill your stride with a delicious cup of Milo at the 702 Walk the Talk, packed with 6 vitamins and 3 minerals to help power your walk from start to finish. Swing by the Milo van for a tasty boost and experience the same energy that fuels South Africa's future champs every day. Milo, energy to go further.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Centre will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendour of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Centre, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
John Perlman in studio, just walked in. John, busy news day today, hey?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Jonathan, and good afternoon, everybody. I was just thinking to myself as I was walking down the steps, because just passing the TV screens, I've mentally added another 2 stories to today's diary. And every once in a while, the country sort of takes a breather, you know?
Yeah.
But not now.
Yeah, no.
Not even close.
It's like grab your popcorn because things are going down, right?
I think some people might say grab your Valium rather than your... I don't know if there's a Valium popcorn, but yeah.
Hey, maybe we're onto something. What's coming up on the show this afternoon, John?
So, in the midst of all of this, Kabazela, good afternoon to all of our listeners as well. There's quite a bit. First of all these arrests around the killing of DJ Somebody. We're going to talk to Jeff Wicks. He was on with Mandy earlier, but he really is the guy who can put all the pieces together. There's this assassination. There's another killing here. There's what General Mkhwanazi said. There's what the minister is alleged to know. And there's probably 5 or 6 other moving parts.
Yeah.
And they actually all do connect. And if you don't connect them, it can all be a bit bewildering.
Yes.
But it also seems like it's this happened, but that also seemed to happen on the same day. He's got a great sense of where it all fits together, and we're going to call on him again and get him after 5 and hopefully understand it better at the end of all of that. Major problem with foot and mouth. Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen is saying the systems we have can't deal with it.
Yeah.
The implications are huge. Wandile Sihlobo, our regular commentator on agriculture matters, is with us after 4 o'clock. On a much, much more positive note, I suppose, compared to all of this, Banyana, 6 o'clock, up against a Nigerian team that are playing really, really well. Former Banyana captain Simpiwe Dludlu is our guest on that at 10 minutes to 4. Tomorrow, the appropriations bill needs to be passed. Big budget saga. The missing piece is the DA's objection to one of the votes. And we are going to talk to Lindsay Dentlinger, who's just been keeping a close eye on that. On a lighter note, do you act your age? And if you don't, do you care? We'll ask people a little bit about that. And in our what's becoming a regular feature in our Green Tip of the Week, what do you do with your expired medicines? I'll be listening closely. I never know.
That's a good one. I mean, I've got so many meds in the cupboard, and I've had no idea where to dispose of them. So that's on the Green Tip, eh?
That is on the Green Tip, and I'll give you the time. You should know.
I should know that. It's
10 to 5.
10 to 5 this afternoon. That's with John Perlman driving you home. Lots and lots to look forward to on the show.
702.
The car feature.
Trusting your mechanic. I mean, have you got a trusty mechanic that you go to? He's the guy that you go to when your car needs fixing, or you hear a you take it to him because he is the one that you trust, and you know that they are going to do a good deal and charge you a fair and reasonable price. In today's feature, in our car feature, we're going to be talking about trusting your mechanic and how to spot a good one and avoid being ripped off. And, you know, if you are ripped off, what are the repercussions, if any? So I'd love to know about your experiences with mechanics. Have you got any bad mechanic stories or panel beater stories where it didn't go well and it wasn't repaired correctly, or you found out that you were ripped off at the end of the day? And if you got a mechanic that you trust and love, how did you come about finding them and making sure that they keep them close to your secret numbers in your phone? Because if you got a good mechanic, it's always a great thing to have, right? Unless you've got your car that's in service plan and you've got no choice, you take it to the dealerships, I suppose. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that this afternoon. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. And to join us on this discussion, we are joined by Pieter Niemand, the National Director of the Motor Industry Workshop Association, as well as his colleague Dewald Ranft, who's the chairman of the Motor Industry Workshop Association. Dewald and Peter, good afternoon to you, and thanks very much for your time.
Hi, Jonathan. Thanks for having us.
Great. So I know you guys were on last week with Relebogile, and there's so many questions that we've held back for the discussion today. But in case we've got our listeners joining us now who have no idea, what is the Motor Industry Workshop Association? What is it that you guys do?
Jonathan, good afternoon. It's Pieter Niemand here. So,
Hi, Peter.
thank you for having us again. It's good to be back. So just in short, the Motor Industry Workshop Association is a proud association of the RMI, the Retail Motor Industry Organization, and we look after the specific interest of the independent aftermarket workshop. So that's in a nutshell, Jonathan.
Okay, all right. And then if, obviously you would have guys that are members within your body or your association. And if there's any issues with, one of our listeners pick up, they can raise it with you guys and you guys would look into it?
Yeah, certainly. If I can go with that one. So the RMI, MIWA, is a voluntary organization. So membership of businesses as members, firstly, is voluntary. And then, Jonathan, what we have is we have 5, like I said last week, we've got 5 regional offices of the RMI in the country, and each of those offices has a dedicated consumer affairs officer. So if there's somebody that has a problem with a member, then they're welcome to call the relevant office and then ask to speak to the consumer affairs officer, who would gladly assist with a query.
Okay, and in terms of RMI memberships, you did say it's voluntary. If somebody is a member and you receive a complaint, what happens with those complaints? Just talk us through the process of, I had my car serviced there, drove it out the workshop, and, 10 Ks down the road, the turbo burst. What is your role as the MIWA in terms of handling complaints when these complaints are received from your member workshops?
Okay, Jonathan, you don't mind? I'll go with that one as well.
Yeah.
So normally we say to the customers, the first departure point is go back to the workshop and speak to the owner or the manager and try to resolve the issue that you have on hand. Should that fail, then you're welcome to contact the RMI office and then say that I have a problem with a specific business. We will then verify if that business is an acting member, and we will then ask the consumer to lodge a formal complaint. That is the process. A document is then sent to the consumer, and that will give them the opportunity to just put down all the details of that relevant complaint. Then that relevant consumer affairs officer will then take the complaint. They will send that complaint through to the specific member in question, and then just say to the member, there has been a official complaint lodged about your or against your business, and can you please just respond what is your side of the story? And then once they get that evidence back, then we act as call it a mediator, and we all strive to find a amicable solution. We've got a very good track record, Jonathan. We do quite a number of consumer complaints in a year, and we've got a 94% success rate where we manage to do that. So that's in short the process.
Okay, if you just joined us, it's 2:45, and we're talking to Peter Niemand and Dewald Ranft, and both of these gentlemen are from the Motor Industry Workshop Association. And if you've got any questions with regards to mechanics, workshops that you've taken to, or issues that you've experienced, these are the guys that you will need to chat to, so take advantage now. 011 883 0702. Let's take a listen to some of the voice notes coming through. Okay, did a little bit of a delay in the system there. We'll come back to that. Some of the messages, Peter and Dewald, so I'm going to read them out, and then maybe whoever is best placed to answer the question can then jump in there. So, hey, Kabazela, how do I verify a mechanic's qualifications or workshop registration? Is there a database or site I can use?
Jonathan, I'll go again. So firstly, to verify the registration of that specific member, consumers are welcome to go onto the MIBO website and then look for a workshop. It will take you to the specific region, and you can just follow the search engine, and that will assist you to establish whether that member is in a good standing. Our website information data on the website is updated on twice daily, in the morning and in the afternoon, so that information should be correct. Regarding the qualification, each and every MIWA member, it's compulsory for them as part of the criteria to have a qualified mechanic or a journeyman, and we have an internal process where we go out. We've got some representatives on the road, as well as a grading project where these members are visited, and one of the functions is then to verify whether that specific mechanic, firstly, are they permanently employed at that business, and secondly, is that specific qualification, is it valid?
Okay, so what happens if you have taken your vehicle to a workshop, and on their documentation and on the front window of their reception, they've got a proudly RMI member sticker and a logo on their documentation. And then you find out thereafter that they are indeed not members of the RMI. What is one's recourse then?
Jonathan, can I go with that one as well?
Yeah.
So we do get that as well.
Yeah.
So when we get contacted to say, but listen, I've just taken my vehicle to a business, they market themselves as an RMI MIWA workshop, but they're not. Then we have a very specific internal process where we contact that member, and we say to them that they need to remove the branding within a specific period of time. We have a national footprint of representatives. So in most cases, we are able to send a representative there for a personal inspection, have a look at the situation, tell the business to remove that. That is then immediately followed up with an official letter by our organization and association, and give them a specific time frame for those to be removed. After that, we follow it up. And if they still don't do it, then we go the legal route, where we ask our attorneys to send them a letter where they are instructed to remove that branding.
And for the customer, what's the recourse for the customer? Nothing.
Well, I won't say it's nothing. It's always a difficult one because, like I said in the beginning, because membership is voluntary and some members is not an active member anymore. then they still value the fact that they was an RMI member, and then they still keep it on. But we try to accommodate those members as far as we can. One of the other alternatives for them is to make contact with a motor industry ombudsman, which is actually the official entity that's been put there to address these issues and queries of consumers.
Okay, so we're talking to Pieter Niemand and Dierwold Runft from the Motor Industry Workshop Association. If you've got any questions or issues that you've experienced with a mechanic, a panel beater, or anything like that, do let us know. 011 883 0702 or 072 702 1702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What was Kenny Kunene doing at Katiso Katie Molefe's house? What is his explanation?
Mr. Kunene told me that he was there to escort a young journalist. Through his network, had managed to set up an exclusive interview with Mr. Molefe, and he was guiding this young journalist and playing the role of intermediary. He insists that he has no relationship with Mr. Molefe. He is not known to him. They are not friends. But nonetheless, he was inside Mr. Molefe's property when the police swooped.
Jeff Wicks. The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Did you know that the CSIR International Convention Centre has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local and national business events? Located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East within the knowledge hub and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane. This fit-for-purpose convention centre is ideal for your association congress or other business events. For more information, visit csiricc.co.za. The CSIR International Convention Centre, where smart minds meet.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3274. Every time I go to a fancy birthday dinner, I'm reminded I'm just 5 fancy birthday dinners away from financial ruin. Note to self, don't make any more born in June friends.
Recently removed from the family payroll? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
You could smash that snooze button for the 7th time. Or you could grab the new Berry Blue sports drink from Aquila Vive and get moving. Blue has never tasted so good. Bursting with bold berry flavor. Packed with electrolytes and vitamins, and free from colorants. Aquila Vive Sports and Power Drinks. Let's move.
702.
The car feature.
9 minutes to 3, Kabazela in for Relebogile Mabotja, and we're talking to Pieter Niemand and Dierwold Runft, who are both from the Motor Industry Workshop Association. Gents, there's a couple of questions coming through here, which I want to try and get through as many as we can. So if you could maybe be concise with your answers. From Brenda, my mechanic keeps changing parts that I never approved and then charges me after the fact. Is that legal, and what recourse do I have?
Yeah, what you can go?
No, it's not legal. You should give you a quotation, even if it's a problematic car and he starts at one point and he needs to finish at another point. He needs to keep you informed and have you agreed on it. So it's definitely not legal and the right procedure.
Okay, one from JP. Should I always ask for the old parts after a repair? I never know if they're actually replacing what they've said they're replacing.
Peter, you don't mind if I go with this one? Yeah, this is a debate as old as Noah. The easiest is to find a mechanic or a workshop that you can trust, so you don't have to ask for your old parts. But if you should want to see your old parts, please do so when you book in the vehicle. As a workshop owner, it happens to me that if I put the old parts back in the car, that people tend to complain and what would they want with the old parts. And then when you don't, the customer would come back in a couple of days and ask for it, and obviously the parts would not be stored, it would be thrown away already. So it's well in your right to do it, but do it when you book in the vehicle.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, that's an interesting one. Some people are like, why have you left my old brake pads in my boot of my car?
Exactly that.
Yeah, difficult one, that. Then another one from Numusa. She says, hi, 702. How do I know if my mechanic is charging me fairly? I always feel like the labor costs are inflated, but I don't have a way of proving it. So, I mean, that's an interesting one. So, for example, is there a benchmark to say, okay, well, if you're going to have a cam belt change, it normally would take 6 hours to change a cam belt. And then I suppose each mechanic would probably charge the rate that they feel is fair to run their business, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jonathan,
Peter.
I'll go on that one. Sorry, Dewald, do you want to go? Or must I go?
No, you can go, Peter.
100%. So, Jonathan, yes. So last week we spoke about the labor price, where I said, we're not allowed to recommend any specific prices to our members because of the Competitions Act. So what we do is exactly to your point. You talk about labor hours. So there are specific workshops, technical programs out there. Two that comes to mind is Heinz-Pro is the one, and the second one is Auto Data. So those programs are companies, they buy technical information from the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, and then they rework it into a program and they make it available to aftermarket workshops. So that tells you specifically, if you remove, for example, a clutch of a Ford Ranger, it will tell you, for example, it will take you 3 hours. So that gives you a very good industry-related and fair estimate of how long it will take. And we also promote those specifically Heinz-Pro to our members to ensure that when they do ask customers, that they ask them fair and according to industry standards.
So could one, for interest's sake, let's say, go to 2 RMI members and say to one, give me a quote and how many hours it would take to change my cam belt, then compare it to the other one and then kind of see, okay, well, they're both averaging on the 6 hour mark, so that's cool, that the time is correct, and then whatever rate it would be, right? That could be pretty decent.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
exactly that.
So, yeah, and Dewald was also referring to the trust relationship, Jonathan. So if you have a trusted relationship with your mechanic and you've been doing your cars there for a while, you and the family and whatever, but if it's for somebody that go to a new mechanic and they feel that this is not fair, then it's always good to get a second opinion or a second quote, and then you're in a position to compare.
Okay, let's take a listen to some of the voice notes that have come through. We did ask in the beginning, how did you find your mechanic, and any issues that you've had?
Hi everyone, hope you guys are having a good day. Yo, mechanics. Hey, this is Kia. I'm from, let's just say, Northwest. I have a mechanic who still's holding my property. We took that boss to him around, like, let's say a month ago. I went there to keep on fetching my boss. It's not ready. And then this time around, I was so aggressive. Like, I became so aggressive. I locked them in their workshop. I almost beat up the other one. Like, yo, these guys are so not reliable. When I get there, the other people who have brought their cars for more than 3 months. And I'm like, whoever recommended this guy clearly and then the worst part was when one of the guys said to me, we don't really matter if customers are complaining whatever, we know a new one is gonna walk in. Yo, they were grinding my
Sure. I mean, that's quite an episode there that she's experienced. But withholding a car, are dealerships, are workshops allowed to do that?
Jonathan, I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the very first important thing is that when you make a selection to take your vehicle to a workshop, make sure it's RMI MUBA accredited, because then you know that they tick the boxes in terms of compliance. And secondly, if something does go wrong, you've got recourse. You can come to us as an organization and we will assist that consumer. So very hard to say from that clip whether the lady was at a MUBA or RMI a member.
Yeah.
But to your question, so if they work on a car and the customer hasn't paid them anything, then they are within their right to hold the car back. Right. So there are various circumstances, but that's the most common one because they can't let go. If the vehicle is done and the customer hasn't paid, then they're within their rights to withhold. Okay.
Yes, fair. Yeah. Okay, we've run out of time, but if people want to find out a little bit more about MIWA and the RMI, which website can we send our listeners to?
You've got two. You've got the RMI website, so it's www.rmi.org.za. All listeners can also go to www.miwa.org.za.
Okay, gentlemen, Peter Niemand and Dewald Rand from the Motor Industry Workshop Association, thank you so much for your time this afternoon and chatting to us about some of the issues and things to look out for when it comes to deciding on a mechanic and workshop.
Formulated from 5,000-year-old Ayurvedic wisdom, refined through decades of modern science. For 95 years, Himalaya Wellness has been the trusted name in herbal care, caring for families in more than 100 countries around the world. Our clinically studied natural formulations, pure herbs, and personal care products are designed to support your health, skin, smile, and your baby's well-being. Bring the healing power of nature into your home. Himalaya Wellness. Live well, live herbal.
When selling a car, there's nothing worse than a long, frustrating process. We Buy Cars knows life's short and time is precious. Sell your car within a day from wherever you find it convenient. Simply complete the online form and We Buy Cars will make it happen. Need a new ride? Explore thousands of vehicles online or in store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted vehicle partner.
Busy mornings, non-stop days? Future Life Smart Food and Smart Food Zero is made to fuel real life. It's high in protein, rich in dietary fiber and low GI, giving you sustained energy to keep going. Packed with 19 vitamins and minerals, it's the smart choice for active people and growing families alike. Enjoy it as a meal or shake. Just mix with water or milk. With 5 delicious flavors, including our new peanut butter, Smart Food is as convenient as it is nutritious. Future Life, smart nutrition for life.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon and tuning in. I really, really do appreciate all your thoughts, comments, and interaction with me on the show over the last 2 hours. We'll be with you tomorrow again. But right now it's 3 o'clock and good afternoon.
This is EWN.
The DA wants Joburg Transport MMC Kenny Kunene fired, and an ad hoc committee will be looking into Mkwanazi's explosive allegations. Good afternoon. Of musician DJ Somebody. News 24 reported that when police arrived to arrest Katiso KT Molefe at his Sandton home yesterday, Kunene was there. In an interview on one of the news channels today, Kunene says he was there accompanying a young journalist who was interviewing Molefe for his media website, Africa News Global. But DA Joburg caucus leader Belinda Kaiser Etiozonjoku says Kunene's role as Transport MMC is now untenable.
The Democratic Alliance calls for Kunene's immediate resignation, and if he will not resign, Mayor Dada Morero